Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to this episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It's Four Ends, the foodie.
And we are back with another episode.
We are back. I just realised, I was like, I think my mic is way too loud. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, control that because...
I just turned it down.
Your voice carries anyway.
Yeah.
So last week there wasn't an episode. Why? Because life. But we're here today, yeah?
And
we're sorry for the lack of communication. Exactly, we're here today and we have life. So we're thankful for that. We are doing a documentary that was requested by actually someone who comments all the time, and sis, we appreciate you, shout out you. This is a Netflix documentary. It's called...
Are you not going to name them?
I don't remember what the name is.
Oh. Cut that out because that sounds bad.
No, I'm going to leave it in. If you go on our comments, while you're writing your comment, go on our comments, you'll see it.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know, sometimes like when you see comments and stuff, it's like you recognize, you're like, I've seen this name
seen
before.
You bear. Yeah,
I've seen this, and it's like I rate it. I really appreciate it because love. Into the Fire, The Lost Daughter, which I had on my watch list. I was like, even if we don't cover it, I'm definitely going to watch it.
Yeah, I would have watched that on my own.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to do it justice, and we're going to do each episode as a separate episode. Yeah, so that we don't rush through it. We really can get into the meat and bones, meat and potatoes.
By saying it's just 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's just 2 episodes. Yeah, so they're going to be 2 episodes of our episodes. Yeah, exactly. So this takes place in Gloucester, Massachusetts. And first off, we meet this lady called Kathy Takanian. Yeah, Kathy Takanian. She's married to this guy called Ed, and they're very much like, I'm Barbie and he's Ed. Like, that's literally the vibe that he gives. Like, he's just happy to be here and he helps and he's great.
He's just happy to be there. Wherever she is, he just wants to be part.
He just wants, I will follow you wherever you may go. That is the vibe, yeah. Rest in peace, Maggie Smith. So, they get married after 10 weeks of knowing each other.
Sorry, before we get into that, can I just say Charlize Theron is a producer?
Yes, she is. Why older actor girlies producing documentaries now?
I was thinking that. I don't know. But do you know what? I think it's quite apt that she produced this documentary because she had a very tumultuous childhood as well. Her mum shot her dad. But her dad was like abusive. Dead.
Oh, mad.
But her dad was abusive. He was like putting hands on her mum.
Oh, okay, well done her.
So more power to her, yeah.
Yeah, more power to her. But obviously, it's just a traumatic thing to have happened to you as a child, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, she saw it, so, she had it.
She saw it?
Yeah, she's from South Africa.
How old was she?
I mean, that doesn't...
I was going to say, I was like...
It's just, I just wanted to add that in, that she's from...
How old was she when this happened?
I can't remember. Funny enough, my sister was saying to me, you know a lot of random facts about... Yeah,
it's like Anderson .Paak's situation.
What Anderson .Paak?
Wasn't his dad like a killer or something?
What?
A killer? No. I'm actually going to Google it because I'm so sure this Anderson .Paak.
I know his mum was like a gambler and I think she did drugs.
No, the family that gave us Anderson .Paak.
I remember reading that article.
Yeah, his dad. Okay, so blah 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 blah. His dad was a twin who switched places with his brother in different situations, including in the army in Korea. He tried to murder his wife. As an identical twin who tried to murder his wife, Anderson .Paak's mother, after his brother agreed to serve his jail time. What the heck? And then his stepfather, Dennis Willingham, is the son of a Baptist pastor and gospel singer, grew up around musicians. Yeah. Well, that was that on Anderson .Paak, where his dad tried to kill his mum and switch places with his brother in jail. Cool.
But I always know these random things about celebs because I don't care what you've achieved or how great you are. If I go on your wiki page, I'm going straight to that personal life. That is all I care about.
But isn't that what people go to wiki for?
No, some people go and they look at all the accomplishments and accolades. I don't give a heck. I don't give a fuck. I just want to know who you slept with and what juicy tea happened in your life. And that is why I always know the most random facts about people.
This is why it's like people who used to be on like X Factor and stuff, and they always had to have like a sub story. I was like, nothing in my life has happened that is substantial.
You think so? But if you wrote your
it's
life
about
story,
flip it, spin it, dice it. It's how you market the thing, innit?
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, but interesting. Randomly, what's that guy's name? I always forget his name. He was in A Star Is Born. Surely Bradley Cooper. Yeah, I think it was him. His dad. Or was it Matthew McConaughey? Either him or Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, I get them mixed up as well. There's similar vibes. I mean, not mixed up. Like I know if I see two of them, I know which is which. But
the same vibe.
They're the same vibe. Yeah.
Either Bradley Cooper used to shower with his dad till he was quite old, which that's one thing.
But shower with.
Yeah. Then I think.
Well, at least he showered.
Matthew McConaughey. I think it was him. His dad died on top of his mum having sex. Like he had a heart attack. What a way to go, though.
Oh, my
it's
God.
It's one or the other. I can't remember.
Like
exactly.
one belongs to one and one belongs to the other.
Yeah. Or one belongs to both. I can't remember, but yeah, it's one or the other. So
how
crazy,
interesting.
He died doing what he loved.
Well, if you're gonna go out, you might as well
go out with a bang
in the throes of passion. Matting. I liked this documentary actually. Just speaking of the thingy, I liked it. It didn't feel because each episode is like an hour plus.
It makes sense that the actor girlies are actually producing though, if you think about it, because a lot of them, like even like with Scandal, for example, there were episodes that Olivia Pope, Kerry Washington produced. So I think when you act, you see that side of things.
I love that. I really love that. Yeah. Even with like musicians and stuff, like say for example Beyonce and like directing and stuff, like you've been in front of the camera, you learn. I mean, I guess people who actually give a fuck about their craft, you learn so much from the people behind the scenes. Like I can imagine that actually you would want to, like I'm sure that Kerry Washington could produce a whole series of a show actually after all her experience on Scandal.
100%.
But yeah, it's nice. Like it's nice, and I almost feel like I trust them. Like when I saw her name, I was like, okay, cool. Like
this will be good.
I feel like this will be okay. Yeah, and that's exactly how I felt with when I saw Kerry Washington and the Daughters thing. I was like, okay, I feel like I'm in safe hands.
Yeah,
kind
exactly.
of thing. I don't know why, but I felt that way. So Ed and Kathy get married 10 weeks after knowing each other, and then a few weeks after the marriage, she tells him that when she was 16 years old, she had a child, but she gave her up for adoption because she realized she couldn't really be a parent, right? Yeah. And I think that it's good to be aware of your limitations and to put your baby's needs first. Like no one's born a parent, so like no one's done this before. Like every time, do you know what I mean? Like you kind of learn as you go along. But Kathy's mom seems to be like the catalyst behind the whole give up
adoption,
this baby, because I think that Kathy's mom was kind of like, listen, I'm not raising this kid for you, so you better give it up. That's the vibe that I got, because Kathy seemed like she kind of wanted to do it. Like she was like, I'm willing to like try, and obviously I may make mistakes, but like I want to see how, what I can do here. But the mom kind of seemed like it was like, nah, I'm not looking after your child, so you better give this baby up.
And I think it's even less of like looking out, because she said this a bit later on, but I think it's less of like, I'm not looking after your child, but more she just felt she didn't have that support. Like if you actually have a support system, then you can do it. And I think that's quite sad. It's quite sad, but it's also an admirable decision to make, knowing that you don't have the facilities to give your child the best.
Obviously, in this situation, terrible decision, but she wasn't to know.
Yeah. And it wasn't a terrible decision on her part.
Exactly. She did what she was meant to do. So she gets the baby, which is a girl, gets adopted in Norfolk, Virginia at 9 months old. It's a closed adoption, so she don't know where the baby's gone. The baby has to be the one to like reach out to try and look for her if she chooses to, sort of thing.
I'm not doing that. If it was me, which probably at this stage I never would, but if I did put my baby up for adoption, I wouldn't have it closed.
Do you not think that's like I can understand why somebody would do that, because you'd be stalking that baby.
Yes.
That's why you want it to be open.
Yeah. I understand why people do it, but
I feel like that. I feel like you'd get arrested for kidnapping, and you'd be like, but it's my baby, and you'd be like, yeah, but you have no legal rights. And you'd be like, yeah, but it's my baby, and then you'd be put in jail.
100%, which is why adoption is not an option for me.
Yeah, agree. So 35 years later, in 2010, Kathy gets a letter from the adoption agency not saying, hey girl, your child is looking for you, saying actually we're looking for your child because she went missing when she was 14 years old, and that they found a body. They think it might be her, but they need Kathy's DNA to identify her. I would be so spun if this happened to me.
And I'll be so angry. I know that it's not the adoption agency. Actually, it is a bit. But yeah, what do you mean?
But we don't know that at this point.
Yeah. What do you mean you lost the child I gave you?
Are you dumb?
What do you mean?
And she might be dead and you need me to... And you know what, as well, I was going to say this later on, but what if I was dead? What if Kathy was dead? We don't know what the dad is saying. So who would we have been able to compare DNA against?
No one. That child would have just been lost to the like.
And I bring that up because there was a bit where Kathy was like, she was suicidal after she gave up her child. So what if Kathy had actually like continued with her plan to die by suicide? But how do none of this would have happened.
And also another thing that annoys me about this situation as well is just that like I forgot what I was going to say.
You know, in the office, Michael's like, sometimes I just start a sentence and I don't really know where it's going to go, and I just go, and eventually maybe I'll get to a point, and same. That's same.
No, that's same. I get it.
I was saying that Kathy, without her DNA, and
I know what you were saying. What the
but that didn't trigger any response. Okay, I'll continue. So Kathy isn't trying to wait for the DNA results yet.
But I know what I'm going to say.
Okay, well done. Quick, before you forget.
What annoyed me is that I feel like they should have notified Kathy when she went missing.
Yeah, but then also why though? That's not your mom. I know,
but still, is this why I'll be arrested?
Because but do you know what I mean? That's not actually. There would have been no. It's not your. Yeah. It's like the clothes you sold on Vinted. Yeah, someone saying, "Oh, hey, sorry, this top that you let go of, something has happened with it." It's actually not my business anymore. This is yours now.
Yeah.
Not to say that selling babies and adoption is the same thing. Do you know what I mean? But I'm just saying
it's the same. It's you've given up.
You've given up. You have no more rights to the thing.
It's just so funny. Like my dad has a nice car, and he has a car that he takes to the station when he goes to work, and that car is a Smart. And so the Smart was giving him a lot of problems, so he took it to the mechanic, and the mechanic was like, it's going to cost however much to fix it. My dad's like, you know what, just keep it, I don't care. Like it's actually it's not worth it.
It's not worth keeping it for the cost it's going to be to fix it.
Literally, obviously the mechanic must have fixed it, and then someone on their street bought the car.
Stop it.
Yeah. And so my dad is like, it's so
But did
weird.
He sell the car to the mechanic?
He didn't sell it. He just left it. He was like, just keep it. And I was like, Daddy, you should have sold it. He was like, at the end of the day, like, what am I going to sell it for? The amount it would have cost to fix for it to be anything tangible. So, but I was like, but the mechanic then has fixed it and sold it. He's like, but he was doing the labor for free, so it makes sense. But anyways, either way, I'm sure he could have sold it for like parts for like £500 at least. But anyways, this is what happens when you're rich. Anyways, someone down our road has bought the car, and I was like, so it's kind of like, oh, I thought I let you go.
It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
Same car, because obviously my dad knows the license.
Yeah, whatever. And it's on your street.
It's on your street, and it's like,
so he probably thought I've been robbed. Yeah, but no, actually, you shaked yourself.
I thought I got rid of you, and here you are again. Like. So
and it's only because it's in your vicinity. If that car was in my house or one of my neighbours bought it, you wouldn't know. He wouldn't know a thing.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
And I guess that if my dad saw tomorrow that woman was using the car for all sorts, he couldn't say anything.
Yeah, because it's not your animal. She could be renting it out, doing OnlyFans in the back, and it's like, you actually cannot. This is no longer yours.
Ain't shit you can say. Sorry, randomly, tangents of all tangents. Speaking of OnlyFans, there's this thing on like porn sites. I've seen like clips like on the internet and stuff, and it's like fake taxi. So
okay,
have I told you about this before?
I don't think so. What, the Brazzers thing?
I don't know if it's Brazzers. I don't know if it's Brazzers or something. Ask a man, he'll know for sure. But like, it's this thing called fake taxi, and it's basically a taxi, and then people like someone. Yeah,
I feel like I've heard of it, and it has like it's like a sign. There's like a
yeah. Someone will come in, and then they'll pretend it's a taxi ride, then they'll have sex, and then they'll.
I feel like this rings a bell. Yeah, right. I feel like okay, go on. Let me see if you told me. Go on.
The other day, I was driving around. There was a taxi in front of me.
Stop it.
The logo, fake taxi.
Stop it. Was there people inside?
I couldn't see.
You didn't pull up to the side?
It was in front of me on a road.
That's why you overtake. That's why there's the fast lane.
There wasn't no, as in like, okay, you have to bleep this out, but it was.
It was a road where there was only one lane. You couldn't overtake, basically.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was a high street, basically. Yeah, it was a high street.
Okay, fine.
So I could just see that. I literally at the back, I was just staring.
Did you see any movement, any shadows?
No. So it could be that they were on.
Maybe they were on their way to filming, or maybe they hadn't yet filmed. And you didn't follow it? Nah.
Girl,
what a wasted opportunity.
I have things to do, but I know, that was wasted.
Bitch.
But I don't want to be featured. Next time, even a glimpse of me could be featured. I don't want to be featured if I followed them.
But did they feature the cars outside? Isn't it all about what's happening in the taxi? The fake taxi.
I don't know, and I don't want to find out. Because
interesting.
Then an uncle's going to be like, I saw you on Pornhub. How did you see me? Then
exactly. So they wouldn't say that.
Who knows? Who knows?
How interesting. It's just so funny
Crazy.
how like the world is just happening and you're in your little world and then there's other little worlds happening alongside your world and it's all just happening.
Because I don't know where I thought they shot porn, but I thought it was a magical porn kingdom.
You thought it was like a car park and they just go round and round and round.
I thought it was a magical porn kingdom. Never did I think.
Maybe the portal was just open at that time. That might have been
true.
it.
That is true. Someone needs to shut the door. Yeah.
I definitely think it's a kingdom, a magical porn kingdom.
Lots of big dicks.
I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. Magical porn kingdom.
I can't wait for us to have merch and then we can just make t-shirts of dumb shit we say.
Oh my god, do you know what? If we ever had merch here, I would be so excited to design it. And no offense to people who have merch, but I would want it to just be some basic, like some graphic print. Like, do you know I saw some tweet? Yeah, was it a tweet or there's something my sister said? Sometimes the two are both funny. And basically, it was something like people call themselves designers, yeah, just because they like do a little image on Canva and stick it on a t-shirt. And it's like, but it's not even graphic design. Like, it was my sister, and she was like, "It's like graphic design at best." And even then, like, it's not even. Like,
it's not giving anything.
I was just like, if we had merch, it's gonna give couture. Okay, couture. Whether anyone can afford to buy it or not doesn't matter. It's gonna be couture,
juicy couture.
It's gonna be Schiaparelli vibes. But yeah, how did we even get here? Oh, the DNA. Oh, you remembering what you were gonna say? Okay, yes. So Kathy is not trying to wait for the results of the DNA test, yeah. But also, she doesn't know We'll try that again. She doesn't know her daughter's adoptive name because she named her Alexis.
Yeah.
But she finds out from Google that her name is Aundria.
But she had to do some deep digging to find that out.
Yeah. She is on it. This is a mother.
It's a mother. And it's annoying as well because it's like, just tell her name.
Yeah, because the agency wouldn't tell her. I'm like, bro, okay, I would have been like, listen, if you want this DNA of mine, you're going to have to give me her name. I cannot lie. If not, sorry, I guess we'll never know. But they knew she wasn't going to do that because that's her mum. So she obviously wanted to see if it was her or not. She sees her on a missing persons page. That's how she like finds out like all the things, and she makes a Facebook page called Find Aundria M Bowman, and she starts getting a lot of information about her. This is why, as much as I'll cast Facebook or Meta, whatever they're calling themselves now, like it really has been pivotal to just connecting people all over the world. So shout out them for that. So Aundria was adopted by Brenda and Dennis Bowman. These two were high school sweethearts. They moved from Virginia to a small town in Michigan. This whole thing is basically Virginia, Michigan. These are the two places that we're basically discussing at each time. So when Aundria's 13, the Bowmans end up, because remember they adopted her, they couldn't have kids. It was a struggle. They end up getting pregnant and having a baby. Okay, so now Aundria, she has been like just a cool, like normal kid up until this point, but then she starts running away from home, taking drugs, shoplifting. Okay, apparently everyone has this phase. I didn't, but hey, one day
everyone had. You didn't have a shoplifting phase?
No, I was too scared.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know anybody that
the shoplifting phase I understand because like people used to do it from Primark or Claire's or like it was very easy, very simple.
Yeah, very simple.
Gloss here,
a lip gloss here, an earring there. Like it was almost like a rite of passage. It wasn't even it wasn't that you needed this stuff. It was just that.
Yeah, it was just kleptomania. Yeah, why not?
You don't have to label it, okay?
I never had that phase only because of the fear of the Lord and my parents, but not because I didn't want to. Do you know what I mean? I was just afraid. So one day Dennis drops Brenda to work, and then by the time he gets home, Aundria's gone. So she's taken her bag, there's a purple coat that she takes, and she takes some money from the house, including from the baby's piggy bank, which Aundria says, let's have some boundaries here. Do you know what I mean? Leave the baby alone, right? Dennis calls the police and he files a report. So the parents are now looking for their child, obviously, yeah. And then there's all these reports of seeing her in like a bigger city in Michigan, seeing her at strip clubs, seeing her at a grocery store. And it becomes apparent that sis just got tired and ran away, yeah. Coincidentally, her birth mum, Kathy, also ran away when she was 14. But she ran away because her mum used to like abuse her. Yeah. Okay. Pin in that. So now we're back with Kathy. Kathy tells us about Carl Koppelman, who is an amateur web sleuth, which every time we get that in a documentary, it reminds me of the Don't Fuck With Cats people. Did we ever cover Don't Fuck With Cats on here?
We did.
Okay, yeah. I'll find the episode. I'll put it in the show notes. So he makes this spreadsheet of all these like missing people from various websites. This guy like
is on it.
Like some may say jobless, but he actually is not jobless. He's an accountant, yeah. But some may say like a genius, because this spreadsheet has like 19,000 people on it, which is mad to think that like there's that many missing people, but even madder to think that he collated all these people into an easy to use spreadsheet.
Yeah. And then he was able to help solve cases with this.
Literally. And that's why, like, I know, even, I'm sure we said this on our Don't Fuck With Cats episode, like, yeah, okay, amateur web sleuths can be, like, disruptive. They can be rubbish. Like, some people are literally main character and they think it's all about them, da-da-da-da. But there are some, like, genuine people, like this guy, who just want to help.
Yeah.
Who just want to help. And it's like, the police can't do everything, clearly, because there wouldn't be 19,000 missing people otherwise. So, you know, like, he really was, like, an asset.
Yeah.
So, so the DNA test comes back about the Jane Doe, and they found out that it wasn't Kathy's daughter. But obviously now Kathy isn't going to just be like, okay, well, my daughter's missing and it wasn't her that was found. But she's kind of like, listen, before I leave this earth, I have to find her. I must
know, yeah.
That becomes her mission, and really like the driving force for her life. So now we get into the investigation. Police reach out to Brenda/Dennis, that couple, the Bowmans, and Kathy. And then there's this lady called Meta who reaches out to Kathy to say...
if not for Meta, we wouldn't be... Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes, like, it's actually good to speak. Because if what happened to Meta happened to me, fuck everyone, fuck the world, I'm not speaking to nobody, no one should bother me. I don't give a fuck if it happens to anyone else, so sorry about it. This is what happened to me, yeah?
Yeah.
But Meta reaches out to Kathy and she's like, hey, by the way, when I was 6, I was abducted from a gas station, and I think that these cases are connected. Like,
and even putting that together doesn't even make sense, because they're not really like on the surface, but she's still...
You wouldn't think. But because it was such a small town, I think it was kind of like, bro, like, what's the chances? And she's, I don't know how old she is now, but she's grown. She's like an adult, yeah? So it's like she's been ruminating on this thing for
years,
time. Do you know what I mean? Meta really went through it. Like, this guy basically approaches her because she's like, oh, you know, I wanted to go and see my friends, and my mom initially said no, and like I begged her, and then she said yes. So she's walking to her friend's house, like, it's not far. Okay, she's 6, but like, it's not far. And so this guy says, hey, like, your mum said that I can take you to see puppies. And so she's really excited, and like, he's really, really nice. And then as they're driving, she's like, oh, is this where we're going to see the puppies? And he's like, no, not yet. And he's like, is this where? Then his whole demeanor changes, yeah? And he takes her to the woods. He sexually assaults her, but then he hears a dog barking nearby. So he runs off and leaves her naked in the woods. And she has to run to the road for help, literally at 6 years old.
So crazy.
At 6 years old. And she was like, she's been searching for him ever since. And like, for you to be like, I can't even remember me at 6. I can't even remember what I was thinking, what my thought process and stuff were. But for this to happen to you at 6 years old, and henceforth you've been
etched in your memory.
Exactly. And that was like, you know, sometimes in life you have like defining moments where it's like life could either go that way or this way. Yeah, it's like that was one of those moments.
Yeah, that was a key moment. Yeah.
And Meta's like, the internet has really helped. And so she starts looking into Aundria's case. And the thing is, when she's looking into Aundria's case, she sees a picture of her dad, Dennis, Aundria's dad, Dennis. And it's like, oh my God, this is the guy. Because even she had to do like what's them things called? You know, the sketch.
Lineup, composite sketch. It looks
the composite
like
sketch.
Him, yeah.
Exactly.
When she said that, I screamed because up until this, because at the point when she's saying this, I think we're like maybe 3/4 through the first episode.
Just earlier.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know where this is going, but it didn't even fucking cross my mind that Like, do you know what I mean?
My first thing was like, okay, yeah, it's going to be do you know why I thought that maybe they were involved? Because during the documentary, you hear their voices and it sounds like tapes, yeah? And the only way it'd be tapes is if it was a police interview, in my mind, yeah?
I thought that as well, but I then thought that, like, maybe they declined to be part of it.
Yeah, I
because
agree.
they don't get on with Kathy, or they were dead, because I knew that they were older, so I thought maybe they died. I
didn't think of it like, oh, yeah, shit, it was him. But, you know, you always have in the back of your mind, like, oh, what if the parents did something? And I think I was talking to my mom. I was like, oh, she was like, oh, what are you and Foren's recording? And I was like, oh yeah, we're watching this documentary. And she was like, oh, that stupid thing, they just went round and round just to end up at square one. So when she said that, I was like, okay. But then also, it wasn't really round and round. Actually, it actually was like in a very straight line. It was just a long winding road.
She probably just would have liked for them to have started off by saying,
she would have been like, hey, this is who did it at the end.
Yeah, that's what she would have wanted. She would have liked that.
So I think shocked. I think from when she said that, I was like, okay, it's probably the obvious thing. Exactly, I had that in my mind. But the way that when she said that, and when she then said like, oh, you know, when I heard his voice, I was like, I was like, stop it. And then they put the picture of that she drew, and then they had his face come up, and I was like, nah, this is insane.
And also another reason why I didn't suspect them as well is because the way they made it seem like this couple had been trying, they really wanted a baby, they loved her so much,
and she ran away, her behavior was, they set it up that way. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, this is too many coincidences. So at this point, Kathy is like, who the fuck adopted my daughter? It was very 40-part TikTok episode, like, who the fuck did I give my daughter to? Like, she and like Forenz was saying before, I would be livid. Are you insane? Like, chances are this wouldn't have happened if she stayed with me. Okay, she might have been a little bit fucked up and a little bit, you know, oh, my mum doesn't love me or whatever, but she would still be here to work through said issues. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she goes to Michigan. Yeah, she talks to Aundria's relatives. So like, there's a cousin of Brenda. I think it's Brenda's cousin.
It's Brenda's cousin.
Okay, yeah. Who was like, Aundria was really put down and like dejected. And then we see a friend of Aundria, Michelle, who reports witnessing Dennis hit Aundria and Brenda not do anything. There is something. There's a special place in hell for women who choose men over their children.
This documentary, Brenda is the worst person in this documentary to me.
Absolutely. And the thing is that, like, as we were watching, my mum was livid, like, because she watched it again with me. As we were watching it, I was just like, this, like, I'm not taking away from the issue, the person who did the thing, okay? But it's one thing to do the thing, and it's one thing to enable someone to continue to do the thing. I'm sorry,
but I think...
Are you insane?
Even, like, I was listening to podcasts yesterday about Jimmy Savile, and somebody was like, yeah, like, he was a monster, but he only existed because
he could only be that way because
there were people that allowed it. So
it's always that way.
There will always be monsters in this world. That is inevitable. The same way the sun will shine and the rain will fall.
He will rise in the east and set in the west, right? Whatever way it goes.
But I think the people that allow it are worse, because you could nip it in the bud. That person could be removed. Same with Jimmy Savile. As far back as 1950s, before he was even famous, he had reports of him sexually abusing kids.
That's insane.
So if they had nipped it in the bud then...
Think about how many kids would have been spared.
And they were saying that one of the things he would say to the dads, who were like police officers who would come to talk to him, he'd be like, well, yeah, like, I did this, but your daughter comes to the clubs I DJ at. Would you rather she's with me or she's out with some other perverts? Or do you want me to go about saying that this is where your daughter hangs out? And because of that, they would keep quiet. Can you imagine? And it's the same with this situation. This man only existed because this woman enabled.
No, so wholly and solely because this woman.
If at any point she had even withdrawn herself from the situation,
let's
not even go as far as reporting,
or taking her kids and gone. Brenda is such a dumb bitch. I literally, in every other line of my notes, is like, Brenda's a dumb bitch. Brenda's such a dumb bitch. Like, are you dumb? I think that place in hell for women like this, they need to crank up the heat, because it's actually insane. This is your child,
Your child.
Even
if you don't see that you birthed that child, I could not sit there and watch a child be treated like that.
This man has hit, and in front of her friend. So what more is happening when the friend
If I go to a shop and I see a kid wandering about I always go to them and I'm like, where's your mum?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm always aware. Like, I'm always looking around. Like, okay, where is the adult nearby? Because there should be an adult arriving soon. There's times where I'm gonna just hang back a bit and just wait until I can see this kid speaking to an adult that they're comfortable with. Because the fuck, like, it literally takes a village. Like, it's a community thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just, and as a woman, I'm just like, girl, as a mother, like, are you insane?
She's not. She is.
She doesn't do anything. So we hear about her, like, going to her friend's house, like, hiding in her friend's room for days, that her friend would sneak her up food and stuff like that. Yeah,
because they weren't feeding her. So the time a friend came to stay with her that evening, and you know how, like, you have dinner when you come to someone's house. The mum and the dad were eating, like, hamburgers, and they gave her, like, these random scraps of leftovers. Yeah. Like, what is that?
And the thing is the thing that I don't, like, get, like, I don't get the abuse of any child, but to adopt a child, I don't know, I might be wrong, but it's kind of not easy. Like, you have to do a lot of...
it was easier then.
But you still have to do things. You still have to fill out forms.
Back then, you just needed to show you were married and you were a Christian couple.
But why go through that just to abuse the kids?
Yeah, I know. Makes no sense. Not a lick of sense. I mean, I get why he did it. Because for him, it's like... Okay,
he probably spearheaded the whole thing.
But Brenda?
And then Aundria confesses to her friend that, like, Dennis is sexually assaulting her. And her friend goes with her to tell the principal. Yeah. And, like, they would have meetings with the parent there and say, okay, so what happened? So I'm beating up Forenz, yeah? And they go to me and Forenz go for a meeting and say, oh, Forenz, so what happened? And me, the beater of Forenz, is going to go, it's there. What's she going to say?
Interesting you think you could beat me up.
No, I'm just using an example. It was so dumb. And I did it that way around as well. Anyway, you don't know the strength.
I don't know, it's literally small but mighty. No, but that was
but for real, do you know what I mean?
Ridiculous thing. Like,
and the child... I just think that, like, okay, people say, oh, but what if the child is lying? What if the child is lying? I'm sorry.
I would rather
I believe this lying child than the child wasn't lying. And really and truly, yeah, the chances are the child is not lying.
Yeah.
The chances are the child is not lying.
Where does the child make up some of these things that are being...
And this guy has a history of shit.
This is the bit that's why I said to you there were no checks. Because what do you mean
it's
this
true,
man was allowed to adopt?
It's true.
What
it's true. There can't have been. You're actually right.
It was like there's another case I was listening to a podcast on, which I've listened to multiple different podcasts on. It's called God, I've forgotten the name of the person, but the woman who was abusing was like Gertrude or something like that. A case in America where this girl, for some reason, was under the care of this woman and she was abusing her. And the girl tried so many times to tell teachers, like, I'm being abused. And one of the things they were saying on the podcast is, even if you think, okay, this kid is lying and stuff, the stuff she was saying, where does a child this age come up with that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, even if a kid is going to lie, you'll be like, oh, he touched my pee-pee. But, like, if you're going, where does a child come up with such explicit detail at that age? Where do they learn that?
Oh, that reminds me of this this thing that I heard where there was this little boy. He was small. He must have been maybe 6. He was young, and he had a little brother, like a baby brother, and he was putting batteries in the baby brother's bum.
What?
And they literally were like, they took the kid because they were like, what the fuck is this behavior? You're abusing your baby brother, yeah? And like, he had so many different like caseworkers the child wouldn't speak. Then you had this one black guy, and he was like, it was the black guy that was telling the story. He basically was like, yeah, like he just kind of spoke to him. The kid wasn't responding, but eventually what he found out was that the mom's boyfriend had been abusing him. So in order to try and save his brother, he was like, if I put this in my brother's bum, then that guy won't be able to do to my brother what he was doing to me. Where does a child come up with the idea of, I'm going to put batteries in the baby's bum? It comes from somewhere. Do you get what I mean? There's a reason why this boy is doing, not because he's a sexual offender or he's fucked in the head, but because he has been through some shit and he thinks this is how I save my brother. So if you just look at it face on, or if you just hear what this child is saying or what they're whatever and think, oh, this child is delinquent or this child is lying, it's like with kids, they are like a blank canvas.
Yeah.
Like everything that their parents are doing or teachers or whatever is imprinted upon them. Yeah. So you have to think like this is coming from somewhere. Like what you were saying, how do you get such explicit detail? You're not on fucking Fake Taxi or Pornhub. You don't understand what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
So where would you get that from if not a lived experience?
Crazy.
Nah,
this world we live in is sick.
And then if you are not angry enough, these lots take her to a minister who basically makes her say that she lied. Like, can we be for real? Can we be for real?
Just for once, can we be for real?
Can we actually try? Can we try and be for real? Because it's just... Aundria was failed by so many people.
On every plane.
Yeah. Because even that's why you have safeguarding. Like, because if at home something is happening, then like at school you should be able to pick up on stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, poor babe. So it turns out that Aundria didn't take anything with her. So there was no makeup, no bags, no nothing. So basically all the stuff that she would have taken if she were running away, she didn't, which is like, I'm 14, I'm stealing all these things from the shops. Why would I not take them with me? Yeah. Brenda's cousin's wife. Yeah. Yes, I don't remember her name. Was her name like Susan or something? I don't remember. Yeah. Brenda's cousin's wife even tells the police like, hey bro, you might want to look at Dennis. Like you might want to do that. Yeah. And Kathy is pissed off to this day. Yeah. To this day. She's like, I gave this baby away because I was trying to give her a chance at life. And this is what happens.
I push her to the clutches of the devil.
Of the devil himself. So we learn about the Freedom of Information Act. And Kathy, I love this woman so much because I feel like...
I love her down bad.
Down bad. I said, this is a woman you don't fuck with. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a woman you need in your corner.
You need on your side, yeah? So she gets all this information about Dennis. He has many priors, breaking and entering, stalking a co-walker. Guys.
Someone the co could be walking. So.
The co probably away as well. Right. Probably trying to walk away. So he also has a shotgun, a sawed-off shotgun, and he goes to jail for a year. Okay, there's another case where he attacks a teenager. He tries to abduct her, and he basically like walk towards the woods, and he like threatens her with a gun, shoots past her head, shoots at her foot, but she sees someone driving and runs and gets in the car. A very smart babe. Yeah,
very smart.
The judge in this case says this man needs to be in jail. He is a danger to women. Okay.
Oh, but guess who stays with him through it all? Through the fire.
A dumb bitch.
A dumb fucking bitch.
He goes to jail when Aundria is 6 and he's released when she's 11.
And Brenda's still taking
And you had 5 years to evacuate and leave and you're still there.
No. Brenda's taking Aundria to prison to see her daddy.
Are you insane? Oh, yeah. Now, is it crack?
It is.
In fact, I can't even say crack because that's even disrespectful to the crack users, yeah? Because even they wouldn't do this.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't do this.
It's crazy. Crazy.
You stayed with him.
And you now have a teenage daughter that he comes out prime meat.
Kathy starts going to the Missing in Michigan conference annually for families of missing people. And one year she goes, and guess who the fuck is there?
And the fact that Brenda wasn't going every year just shows. You just go this one time to antagonize Kathy.
She's a fucking bitch. She's a dumb, ugly bitch.
Ugly bitch.
Ugly as fuck. That's why I'm like, maybe like,
because
they were high school sweethearts, you know, she wasn't going to get anybody else.
She was ugly as sin. That's what my dad would say. She just
continued to get uglier. Yeah. So Brenda's there, and she tries to do kumbaya and be like, you know, Aundria has 2 mothers here, and Kathy's like, shut the fuck up, you dumb bitch, and tell everyone where your husband is. Yeah,
tell him who he is. What he's been doing.
Right. And this is why I fuck with Kathy, because it's like, I'm not a fake bitch. Yeah. Fuck you and fuck him too. Like, I hate you all, and you're the reason my daughter is gone. Yeah. So these lots are investigating, and like when I say investigating, I mean like actually investigating. Like, this is none of this like, oh, I just googled, I made a couple of calls. These men are on the ground, in the fields, and they find out that the Bowmans moved house shortly after Aundria went missing, but they didn't move far. So it's like basically the move that I just did. I literally moved from one road to 5 seconds down the road to another road. And it's like, so why did you move then? Because it's not like you were trying to get closer to work or move far away or whatever. You literally moved. And then someone makes a really good point, and they're like, why would you move? Your daughter's missing. Wouldn't you want to stay there in case she comes back? Like, she's going to come back and she's going to be like, who the hell lives here? And she's not going to be able to find you.
Yeah.
Like, if the thing is she ran away, like, okay, prodigal son, like, don't you think that? Yeah. And when they said that, I was like, that's so true. That's so weird. That's so weird. So now they are at the point where they're looking at Google Earth images of the Bowman's garden, and Kathy is convinced. Convinced, as clear as the sky, as wet as the rain, as whatever. Yeah, she is sure. She said Aundria's buried in that garden of the new house.
And she knows the spot.
Spot. In Google Earth, we see it. She's like, it keeps changing. It keeps moving. Something's happening there. She's buried there. And even Carl, our amateur investigator, is like, listen, this doesn't make sense.
Why would they bury her in the new house? She's already gone by the time they moved. It doesn't make sense. Exactly.
But Carl is smart enough to be like, yeah, no, I didn't say that to her, obviously, because, you know, like,
I'm stupid.
I'm not a dumb bitch. Yeah, exactly. And then Kathy does this thing, which I think is like, sis, love you, never change, yeah? She puts up a billboard outside the Bowman's house. So, like, it's like the billboard closest to their home, a missing poster of Aundria. She's doing bare indirects on Facebook. She's like, basically antagonizing them, calling them like, you did this, you buried her, where is she? And this episode ends with Dennis getting arrested,
dun, dun, dun.
But not for killing Aundria. He gets arrested for killing a pilot's wife in 1980.
What is done in the dark will come to light.
No,
40 years later. 40 years later.
For real. I said I've never clicked next episode so fast yet in my life.
I need to know.
In my life. But yeah, that was the episode. Now though, it's time for
the real crime. I think was the beard.
Our segment where we focus on something during the documentary that may not be criminal, but we definitely consider to be a crime. I'll go first because you said mine already. The parents were eating hamburgers, yeah. And Aundria and the friend, what they were allowed to eat, it was called leftover sandwiches, which was basically ketchup. It was like breads with ketchup and mustard and relish together. Can you imagine? And that's, even if that's what you feed me, yeah, when I'm here, I have a friend over. Don't you want to keep up appearances?
Yeah, no, they don't care. Relish and ketchup.
That's insane. Okay, so in that situation, yeah, your daughter comes home and she's like, oh, mummy, I'm so hungry. I was like, oh, did you eat at Aundria's?
I am calling.
Oh, they gave us CPS.
Yeah. I am on the phone. I'm going to the house that day. Probably.
I'm not going to that man's house. Are you crazy? Oh my God, did you see that TikTok where the girl was like, she wanted to do it at her friend's house and her mum was like, no. And then like a few weeks later, he got arrested for being a serial killer.
Yeah.
I say. Nah, insane.
No, I would probably, at least I would want to go to the house that day and be like, what the fuck is going on in this house?
Nah, I'll call the police.
I mean, yeah, but I would go. I wouldn't
go. My
husband wouldn't let me go, but I would definitely want
to.
Go
and do what? What are you going to do there?
Nah, I need to make some noise. I need to know that I see you, we see each other. Like,
no, but I don't want them to know that. I don't want them to know that it's coming.
Let them know.
I don't want them to know that's coming before they now give her a bed and put sheets on it and say, hey, no, we take care of her.
Simultaneously. But another thing as well is calling the police not going to do anything.
No, but it wouldn't be police. It'd have to be like the, what's it called? Social services.
Again, these are the same people that gave this kid to her.
No, it wasn't. That was the adoption agency.
But social services have to go. You have to go through social services before you adopt. It's not just the adoption agency.
Yeah, but you already said back then there was no checks and balances.
Yeah, which is why I don't think social services will do anything in this case either. They need
in this day and age.
No, in this day and age, if we're talking about back then, in this day and age, I would call everyone I could call.
Yeah, back then you have to bring your own sort of shotgun and.
I'll tell all the PTA. I'll make sure it's all out there. I'll embarrass you. Yeah. Like, I'll do everything I could possibly do.
Everybody know, yeah. As in, you have to. The court of popular opinion has to deal with you.
Yeah.
What was your crime?
Do you know what I have to say? This was before I knew that Aundria was probably dead. It was her haircut.
Oh, that's on my next one.
I was like,
that's on my next one.
It's the 80s, I get it, but like this haircut.
There's this one picture they keep showing, and it's annoying because it's not even the best picture of all the other ones they show us. Yeah. And the hair, I was just like, sis, this woman is trying to rest in peace. Why did you bring this picture up of her?
It's not fair.
Why did you do that?
It's not fair. It's not right.
Yeah, that was my one for the other episode. Because do you know what? I was getting through it, and the more I kept seeing the picture, the more it started to enrage me.
The more it was annoying me. Like,
yeah, the
why?
more I was like, come on.
Even that haircut to me is a sign that her parents didn't love her.
Yeah, they weren't doing what they needed to do. Yeah, but you know, sometimes you get to that age where it doesn't really matter what you're like. When I used to slick my fringe and have my quiff, doesn't matter what my parents said to me. I was gonna do that.
But I had my the time.
Thing off the side. Yeah, but that was off the time.
Yeah, no, but that was off the time for like a 50-year-old man.
Like, somebody can't have short hair again.
Her other friends all had like the big whoop-de-doo.
The poofs.
Yeah, like, girl, please.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look. But yeah, next we're gonna cover episode 2. If you've watched it, guys, comment, because I would love to know what you lot think of this. Yeah, because it's actually insane. And if you haven't watched it, I'd recommend watching it because it's really well done. Shout out to Charlize and the team. Daron and the team. Because it was really enjoyable to watch. It didn't feel like it was dragging. I want all the best for Kathy. I wish her the best. I hope that she gets everything her heart ever desires, really. And yeah.
Okay, bye.
Before bye, you can find us everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, blah, 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 2 Girls 1 Doc. On TikTok, it's 2 Girls 1 Doc podcast. You can email us, 2girls1doc@gmail.com. You can send us what you want us to cover, like this episode, which we're covering because we were asked to. So, you know, all that good stuff. Please share with somebody, send it to somebody. And also, if you haven't rated us already, can you give us... Oh, we have some new, what do you call it, on Apple? New ratings and like comments and stuff on Apple, which is great, makes our day. So if you could please do that wherever you listen to us, appreciate it. Give us a bit of an ego boost in a life that's trying to kill us. But yeah, and then individually you can find us for En's the Foodie, Instagram and TikTok. And for me, I am on Instagram, BD on Eyewear, and TikTok, BD.mp4. And yeah, that is that. So you can find us everywhere, and we'll see you next week for the next episode.
See you. Bye.
Bye.